Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talking Bullion. I wanted to have a little chat today about an article I came across on Bullion Exchange's website, and I found it to be very interesting, and I thought you guys might as well. And as you can see here, the title of the article is 12% of Americans are gold collectors. And again, I found this interesting because I guess I always thought that percentage would be less. Because 12% of Americans, as we'll discover here in a little bit, is a lot of people. I think most of us think that there's not that many people who stack gold or silver. And of course, they're talking about collectors, not necessarily stackers. But why don't we go ahead and dig into this and let's take a look. Alright, we can see here it was published on October 24th of 2019, so, not that long ago. And let's go ahead and see what it says. My plan isn't to read it word for word, just kind of pull some of the highlights out of it, but let's get started here. It says, interested in collecting gold, but don't want to stand out among your friends? Precious Metals Magazine Gold IRA Guide recently ran a survey that revealed you might have more company than you think. Using independent survey service Google Surveys, they targeted 1,500 men and women from ages 18 to 65 plus. Respondents were coast to coast, so the magazine could get a broad range of replies. The results? 12% of Americans own gold. I'm right here in the article. Let me highlight it for you. And 14.7% own silver. And as predicted, middle-aged participants were more likely to own precious metals overall. Still, when the magazine applied certain filters to their data, they noticed some surprising trends among different demographics. So why don't we take a look at some of that. So here's a highlight of those numbers. 12% of all Americans own gold. 14.7% own silver. Again, I wouldn't have thought it was that high because that ends up being a lot of people, but maybe with today's current trends, with having a hard time buying any gold or silver, maybe now we can see why. Gold IRA Guide's survey consisted of only one question with 4 possible responses. This was, do you own any gold or silver, coins or bars? Participants could then reply, I don't own either. I own both gold and silver. I own some silver, no gold though. And I own some gold, no silver though. Alright, so let me just take a minute to say, I think that surveys like this are fundamentally flawed because I think a lot of people would be reluctant to admit that they have gold or silver, even though this is supposed to be a random survey. I think a lot of people feel like they could still be tracked somehow. And I would guess, in my best estimate, that the actual percentage would be really higher. Because I think if people did own it, they would be reluctant to admit it. So if this is the number of people that actually admitted it, the question is, how many people actually own it? You know what? I don't think we'll ever know. But let me continue on. So it continues to say, with no filters applied, the most common response was, I don't own either, at 82.4%. However, if you take the reverse of that, that means that 17.6% responded that they own one or the other. So that's pretty high, 17.6%. When filters narrowed responses to just those from young adults between 18 and 24 years old, that percentage jumped to 87.6%, which works out to 12.4% saying yes. When filters were pushed further to only include women from that age bracket, the response rate rose to 88.4%, and that would be 11.6% responded favorably. I'm not sure why they give the numbers on the reverse view of how many people don't own either. Would have been probably better to present the other side of it. So 11.6%. So going back to the article, it says neither of these are particularly surprising, as young people often lack disposable income to invest in alternative assets such as precious metals. Also, as gold is often used to prepare for retirement, Many don't consider buying it until later in their lives. And we all know that's pretty true. Most of us would probably agree with that statement. So out of all the respondents, 9.1% indicated that they owned both gold and silver. That makes this the second most popular response. This increased to 12.4% when the magazine narrowed results to participants between 45 and 54 years old. I think that makes sense. As you get up, you've been working for a long time, getting to certain stages in your life, you probably have some more money to pick up things such as gold and silver, some precious metals to be saving with diversifying in different ways. And then the article says it increased yet again to 14.3% when the publication narrowed results to only men from this age bracket. As middle-aged buyers often have more disposable income and are more concerned about preparing a haven for retirement, this matches popular conceptions. Yep, I think we're all in line with that. So here's a big highlighted headline here. 9.1% indicated they own both gold and silver. However, what surprised Gold IRA Guide is how asset ownership differs between men and women. For instance, 5.6% of total participants indicated they owned silver but not gold. When the magazine applied the filter for women from 35 to 44 years old to these results, this rose to 7.8%. But when the magazine did the same for men in this age bracket, they fell to 1.8%. This means that middle-aged women are the most likely group to own silver. Similarly, although just 2.9% of total participants indicated they owned gold but not silver, this jumped to 5.1% when filtered to only include responses from 35 to 44-year-old men. This was also the third most popular response among this group. So they want to note with this survey that it only applies to coins and bars. Domestic items like gold, jewelry, silverware were not included. This limits the survey to just serious collectors and investors as opposed to people who might have inherited gold or silver or have it for special occasions. Alright, yeah, that's an important footnote. So, another headline, about 1 in 10 people are investing in precious metals of some kind. Now let's get into some numbers here, some actual numbers. Still, the metrics for precious metal ownership in the United States points to a healthy collecting community overall. Expanding the survey sample size, 12% of the total American population would be over 39 million people. This points to a large number of gold collectors. Meanwhile, the silver collecting population is even higher at 48 million. As for those who collect both, the population rests at almost 30 million people. So that's really the highlight of the article. And I'm wondering if you guys are as surprised as I am to find out that almost 15 million people are silver collectors and 39 million people are gold collectors. And there's 30 million people that collect both. We're always hearing things and comments in the community like, oh, be happy that you're collecting everything because less than 1% of the population even collects this stuff, or just a small fraction, or, all those comments like that. But that may not be true based on this article. And of course, this is just one survey. But it does lead you to believe that, with this recent shortage in gold and silver, even if there is no new collectors coming on, which there probably is, but even if there wasn't, you're looking at potentially 50 million people that are trying to buy the silver and gold. So here we go, folks. This is our competition when we're trying to buy some good silver and gold for cheap. When the demand is high and the supply is low, we've got to compete against 50 million other people, potentially. And I have to tell you, that really shocks me. So I thought you'd find this interesting. I've seen this article actually posted on a couple different bullion dealer websites. I know that SD Bullion had this article posted for a while. That's where I initially saw it. Now I've been able to pull it up here on bullion exchanges. But give me some comments below. What do you guys think? Are you surprised at these numbers? I'll tell you, I sure am. This gold and silver is supposed to be rare, or rarer, or you know what I'm saying, right? But if there's 50 million Americans that are collecting it, what about around the world? Now, I know that there's other countries that don't necessarily collect it as a collector, but a lot of their jewelry and a lot of things they wear are made out of gold. And if you think about some of those shops and different things in airports around the world, you think about all the gold that is in those shops. I don't know. I fear that gold isn't as rare as they try to make it sound to us, and that it's plentiful out there. But the fact is that it's valued. We all know it has value, and people obviously are willing to buy it. What did it say then? 39,264,000 people are gold collectors, which is 12% of the American population, and 48 million are silver collectors. So yeah, folks, we got ourselves some competition out there. We got a lot of people going after the same stuff that we're after. So anyway, I thought that was a really, really interesting article. I thought you would too. So give me some comments below. Let me know what you think. And always remember, let's keep talking bullion.